Yes, so there was no live video last night because I was down in Lions Civic Center setting up for today's prep market, and needless to say, I am completely exhausted. And I'm going to tell you exhausted, completely exhausted. The market was fantastic. We had a lovely turnout of vendors, a lovely turnout of customers. It was for a first time, for a start, it was perfect. It was really nice, met a lot of great people, signed up a lot of new members, sold a lot more PEP merchandise. To all the people who were involved in any way in the inaugural first PEP market, fantastic, all of you. Felicia Holder, brilliant, well done. Felicia, Chrissy, Limmer, the crew that put this together, amazing job, fantastic, well done, brilliant. And this is something that we're going to be doing every single month. So if you didn't get a chance to take part in the PEP market today or to come shop in the PEP market today, then next month is your time. We had a spa giving people pedicures, and there was a line. I mean, it was so well done. It was so well put together. It was so well laid out. It was so well organized. There was so much food as usual. All PEP events, for some reason, have a lot of food, and this was no exception to the rule. The PEP Women's Arm do an amazing job keeping us all well fed. And I want to give a big shout out to Keisha and her team. Yeah, Keisha does an amazing job as head of the Women's Arm. She's really taken it to another level. And if you would like to be part of the Women's Arm of the Progressive Empowerment Party, that has two real roles, and that is to make the Progressive Empowerment Party receptive to the views of women in society, and to make the Progressive Empowerment Party the de facto choice of women in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the mission of the Women's Arm, and Keisha Lewis is doing an amazing job of that. Her team, Nadini, and all of the rest, they're strong, they're powerful. There are some teams in this organization that I just look on with amazement at what they do and what they accomplish, and I am very proud of them. Very proud of everybody who had anything to do with the market today. But I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. They have this thing, or this first they ridicule you, first they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, then you win. We're at the fight you stage with a lot of people, because all of a sudden we're not ignored. All of a sudden everybody is reaching out to meet with the PEP. Everybody is, a lot of these small parties, a lot of these organizations organizing themselves, and every time 2 or 3 people get together and talk politics, it always heads to get Philip and the PEP on board. But tell you something, we're not joining anybody. We're not. I keep saying this, and I'm saying it again. We're not joining anybody. The Progressive Empowerment Party is not coalescing with anybody else's ideologies. If there's one thing that has propelled us to the front of the pack, somebody wrote today, with the PEP as a much better opposition than the actual opposition. We are actually forcing the hand of government on many issues. And we're doing that because Trinidad is not supposed to just be a battleground and a war. It is supposed to be all who are involved in politics fighting for a better Trinidad and Tobago. That must be the goal. That must be the objective. Now, if all we were doing were raising issues, there are a lot of people who did do that. They just constantly raise issues, and they constantly raise objections, and you know what? They have a role for everybody, I guess. But people have been doing that for 56 years, got us nowhere. Got us nowhere. Today I had a meeting with someone who represents a group of people, and he told me, unlike the People's Partnership, we want to invite you to an organization, to a conversation where everybody would leave their respective parties and join together as one. I said, that was the NAR experience. The NAR experience came out of the ONR, the DAC, the ULF, the United Labour Front Sugar Union. The DAC was the Tobago Party, the ONR was the Middle Class Party, and all 3 of them. And it was supposed to include Tap Your House movement, but Lloyd Best at the last minute pull out his organization. But the experience that I told them, I said that everybody throwing aside their identity and coming together to form the NAR didn't stop Pandey and Robbie from fighting 2 years in, and Pandey pulling out and going to form Club 88. Didn't stop that. That became UNC. So this idea that the Progressive Empowerment Party will join with anybody, it can't work, and I'll tell you why. And it is the thing that propels us to the front of every conversation. And it is the thing that even my haters, my detractors admit. When it comes to actual issue, policy, plan, programs, ideas, or understanding of how the thing works, there is no other political organization in this country, not the PNM, not the UNC, no party, not the Tapia movement, nobody understands the mechanics of managing a country better than the Progressive Empowerment Party, to the point where we have embarked upon for the past 2 years plus an exercise to educate the entire country, inform, educate, and empower. We say that as our mission. I had to tell another person today that a win for us is not a win at the polls. A win for us is an awoke population. A win for us is all of Trinidad and Tobago set on fire with knowledge. Look at our team. Look at the people that make up the Progressive Empowerment Party. You will see people come and go. You will see people come like a flash in the pan. They make a little noise and then they go. There are people like that in every political party. Those people are looking for a name for themselves. And if they can't get their way, they can't stay. This is a teamwork organization. But look at the people who make up the Progressive Empowerment Party. Today at the market, and I look in at the end, the market finish, and we start to clean up and we start to stack the tables and the chairs and cut down all the banners and start up. And the way this team everybody just stops what they're doing. Nobody have to give an instruction. When they see that the work start, everybody in this party, there are a group of people in this party that once the work start, they know what they are accustomed taking care of. And they just take care of it. And in quick time, everything is done and everybody back to cool. Somebody else said today, boy, this is the first time I really see you all in person. And you're like, you're really a family. We are. Black, white, red, green, every shade in between. With love, fight, talk, plan, everything like a family, a real family, the Progressive Empowerment Party. And this was always the mission. This was always the mission. And those of us at the very top, our job is to bring others up and push them to front. We don't run down accolades for ourselves when it is so much better to watch people that you are helping become themselves. Because we get a lot of good raw material. And if you give people the right guidance and the right tools and watch them become the best version of themselves, according to Lima, big up to Akil. We built that pep market today on Akil back. I was there with Akil last night, 11 o'clock, putting out tables and chairs, and he was back there first thing this morning, made that thing happen. He's the resource manager of the party, plus he's heading up the North Hub that's going to launch on the 23rd of March. We have some strong, powerful, beautiful members of this party whose purpose and mission in the Progressive Empowerment Party is to build a better country. It is not about personalities. We don't make this about names. This is not a party of names. Another conversation has been coming up that people want to tell me is for to be a statesman. Yes. There'll be a time for that. There'll be a time for that. But this time now is a time to be pissed. Ian Griffith said we're whining on a sinking ship and the politicians playing the music for you to whine to. Don't be cheered up. Now is not the time for us to be distracted by anything. Now is the time for us to be waking people up, because every time the wolf reaches somebody else's door, for the first time, you hear in their voice that response. You hear when it dawns on them that everything that they believed that was true about this country is not. That moment, and I tell people all the time, You don't have to wait for that moment to happen to you. It's easy to look and see. Put yourself in the next man or woman's shoes. Look at what they're going through. Put yourself there. Think to yourself. And you get a diagnosis. And you go to your banker. You say, I need $400,000 for the surgery. You don't have that equity in your home. Yeah, but as soon as I'm well, I will pay off the loan. Our numbers tell us that may not be so. So what if I'm dead and the loan's still there? That's why we have insurance on you. The truth, the inescapable truth, don't let it lose. Don't let it leave you. Nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago by deliberate design. You want me to be a statesman. I want to be a statesman. You think I want to cuss and carry on? I don't want to cuss and carry on. But the problem is there are too many things in this country that you have to cuss and carry on for. Let me give you an example. There are a lot of things that people take for granted. When you are building a house in Trinidad and Tobago, you have to plan for a water tank and a water pump. You have to plan for a water tank and a water pump. Just something as stupid as that takes up a percentage of your land space, especially if you're building a house on a small lot in a residential community. A water tank and a water pump takes up a percentage of your land space. Have you ever estimated how much billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars we've spent collectively as a nation on the electric bill for your water pump? Let's say my bill every 2 months is about $800. And let's say out of that $800, $40 is my water pump. That is a $40 that did not have to be spent. It is wasted money. Now extrapolate that by all the years that I have been paying electricity bills, and then multiply that by all the people who also have to be paying for water pumps too. That you shouldn't. And what is ridiculous is, and this is the point, we are not managing a problem that requires managing. We are managing a problem because the situation is mismanaged. More water falls on this country every single year than we could consume. There is more water available to us just through rainfall than we could wash car, bathe dog, wash cat, wash yard, wash road, play hose, fight with one another. There is more water available to this nation just falling from the sky than we could know what to do with. Yet, we don't know what to do with it. For some ungodly reason, we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have accepted that even though from all the time for the past 2,000-3,000 years, we've learned how to manage water. Some of the most beautiful architectural structures you will ever see are the step baths in India. Thousands of years old. Google that. Google step baths in India, and you wouldn't believe human beings 2,000-3,000 years ago built that. Look at the aqueducts of Rome. Go and look at what Rome was doing with water, and tell me why we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, cannot elect to government a party that understands that you can dig holes under society. New York City is built on a crisscross web of tunnels. Per capita, it is probably the heaviest city in the world. It is the most developed city per square inch on the planet. It has the heaviest buildings in the world, and yet it is built on a porous island of a network of tunnels and water dams and retention ponds. How it is that they could do that and we can't? How is it that they could know that and we don't? How could Dubai, that sits in the middle of a desert, have water 24/7 and there is no requirement for you to have to build your house with a water tank and a water pump? Why would that have to be our condition and our situation? Why? Why would our reality be that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are incapable of voting into office a government that understands how to manage something as simple as water? I want to tell you something. In Woodbrook, in the rainy season, water floods. We get floods because when Movie Town was built, when Wrightson Road was reclaimed, and when Movie Town was built, when plumbers plumb, and Wassa is no different, they put a certain grade on the pipe so that the pipe reaches the sea and empties into the water. But when you extend that pipe onward and onward and onward, at some point, you negate the grade. At some point, your water pushes back on itself. At some point, your water, there's nowhere for it to go because you've made a mockery of it. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. In the area surrounding Movie Town, hear me, just the turnaround lay-by that was put there when Town and Country gave Chin permission to build Movie Town, he had to build a lay-by for the taxis to come and drop off and pick up people. When you go on the Foreshore Freeway outside the stadium and you see that there are bus stops, taxi stands on both sides of the Foreshore Freeway and people running across that road putting themselves at risk, that's an illegal act. It's against the law. And I raised that issue when those two bus stops were built. And at some point, people are going to die on that road. And when they die, they're going to die because of laziness to enforce the law. Because taxis and buses supposed to use that lay-by outside Movie Town to drop off and pick up people. But forget that for a minute. Let's talk about all that land space. All that land space between the main road and Movie Town. You know what you could put there? Millions of gallons of retention pond. Millions of gallons. Next to Movie Town, there is a car park that offloads all the roll-on, roll-off cars that come to Trinidad and Tobago. Hundreds of millions of gallons of water could be stored there. It is an insanity. Yes, David Tardy is correct. All around there was mangrove, and mangrove's job was to prevent the erosion of the coastline and to allow for the filtration of water. But what is important is we are designing a country around box drain and step drain and taking the bounty of rainfall, putting them into what we call rivers. Diego Martin River, St. Anne's River, Maraval River. Those aren't rivers, those are canals, those are drains, big concrete drains. And we built our country around taking the bounty of rainfall, throwing it in those drains and throwing it out at sea. When all we had to do is all along the way, every couple 100 feet, sink a retention pond in the riverbed. In the actual riverbed. So when rain falling hard up in the mountains at Diego Martin and rushing down that river, what is normally full up and overflow and flood people's house, halfway down the road, even though rain falling hard, if you had retention ponds, by the time it reached Westmoreland, it'll be a trickle. Because all the water that's falling, we are holding, we are catching, and we are keeping. That's how you treat with it. That you catch it, and that you hold it, and that you treat it, and that you distribute it. Our reservoirs could be connected hydraulically to all of those retention ponds. That you need to spend money on. You don't need to spend money on the madness of the overpass in Curep. That overpass is only being built because Patrick Manning took our last oil boom and threw it away in corruption, overpriced, inflated, cost overrun buildings in the heart of town that we didn't need. We still bring 250,000 people from South, Central and East into Port of Spain every day to work in government offices who do not need to be there. 20 years ago, half of those offices could have been digitized. The other half could have been relocated, broken down, decentralized. You don't need to have one massive Ministry of Legal Affairs when you could have interconnected 20 hubs, 10 hubs, North, East, Central, South Tobago, and interconnect them, share data, manage it in a management data system. This country is run by idiots. Yes, Alice, you're correct. But if we didn't have those 250,000 people coming from South, Central and East every morning and every evening to and from Port of Spain, if those buildings that Manning had built, those campuses that are now just being used for 1% and middle class people to throw fets, if those buildings including the waterfront complex, all the madness surrounding Hyatt. If all of that was built in the dead center of the island, it would make too much sense. It would make so much sense, because instead of people having to spend 2 and 3 and 4 hours in traffic 2 ways, they could just go to a closer approximation. North, east, central, south would come to that. And Manning knew that, because the report was on Manning's desk. But governments get elected to office for criminal purposes, to steal money. Let's build this, let's do that. Right now, there is a study underway to find a way to charge you to deal with your garbage. They want to give a 1%er the contract to deal with all the garbage, collect it and manage it. And you will tell yourself, well, it makes sense. And to get it done, in a little while, they are going to collapse the garbage collection system in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, water is important, garbage collection is important, food important, electricity, utilities, those are important things. Road management are important things. And if you find a way to corruptly enrich yourself through them, you could eat well forever. And that's what they're trying to do. But the point that I was trying to make here is the money that we're spending to build that overpass in Curragh. We didn't even need that overpass by Grand Bazaar. We didn't need all of that. All of these bottlenecks that we've had to manage, we created by the deliberate mismanagement of this country. Between the $500 million that they're going to spend in Curragh and the $500 million that they're spending in the Manzanilla Highway to nowhere, that $1 billion, because that's what that is, that $1 billion could put together a water retention bypass system for Trinidad and Tobago that collects and holds all the water, or all the water that we need, and end the perennial flooding. If 50 million gallons of water results in flood in Woodbrook, and you could hold 50 million gallons of water, then you can't flood. That's simple arithmetic. And we need to understand, because if we get, and that's why I say, the Progressive Empowerment Party's job is to inform, educate, and empower. You could don't like me, and I don't care. But you have a responsibility to yourself, your loved ones, and your nation to know better. And you need to admit that what we tell you is a fact. This country has access to aquifers. Blue Water could tell you, Blue Water's living off an aquifer right now in the east. The water park they just built down in Chaguaramas tapping into aquifer too. That's how they get in their water. This country has access to aquifers underground with water supplies 10, 20 million years old that they accessing now. This is a country that you're supposed to be able to manage through lakes, dams, retention ponds. We could manage the water of this country. Everything that happens in the northern range is everything that we need to run this country. For the far-flung constituencies that don't have access to aquifers and don't have access to dams, you could literally trickle it down. And if that don't work, there's room for desalination. Not the bullshit plant we bought in Desalcott. Not that nonsense. There are desalination water makers right now that run on geothermal currents. That means the movement of the waves into and out of the... Just that. Just the movement of the waves coming onshore and offshore on the entire east coast of Trinidad and Tobago. We have enough wind and wave energy to power this entire country. Do you know that? That we would not need to burn natural gas, that we would not need to use natural gas and steam power generation. We could use thermal dynamics and wind power, and we could power this entire country. In fact, we could generate so much power on the East Coast because a Dutch company did a study that we could sell electricity right up the eastern, right up the Les Antilles. We could sell power. And all the oil and all the gas could be sold because it would have no value to us. But the truth is, they keep making a mockery of the country. If you don't have water, you will pay anything for water. If you don't have people picking up your garbage, if 5 days pass and you have 10 bags of garbage outside your house, your neighbor have 10 bags of garbage, and the stray dogs busting up all the bags, you will pay anything for them to move the garbage. It's a game they're playing. They want to privatize everything. Right now, we're on the verge of discussing privatizing the prisons. And if that happens, a lot of these black children in trouble. Because they're going to be looking to lock all you up for no reason. Because all you're worth more lock up than outside. We have a country that is deliberately mismanaged by failed politicians at the behest of a criminal conspiracy called the contract mafia. The mafia of people that sit down and plan things like how to screw up your water. So the people who want me to be a statesman, I want to be a statesman too. But the small people down in Mova, Bitam, Lavatel, Silots, River State, Patna, Covin, Sanganga, Abipuja, Big Yard, Never Dirty Water, Hole Gonzales, those people in Belmont, those people, they don't want to see or hear a next smooth talker. They can't do nothing with that. We've used the education system against them. We failed them. We made a mockery of their knowledge. They don't even know how to think, much less what to think. We make a joke and say they don't know that they don't know, but that's not a joke, because if that's a joke, the punchline is on us. Because we are the ones that pay eventually for all of this. All of it. When Lawrence Dupre failed Clico and Colonial Life and CL Financial, when he failed that and the government was able to find miraculously $25 billion to save it, why that $25 billion wasn't instead used to build 200,000 houses, starter homes, and make it available to everybody, zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years? If you don't pay your bills, we throw you out. But you could have built 200,000 houses with that money. You could have built 41 accident and emergency 24/7 hospitals in one in every constituency in this country. We could have built 200 purpose-built schools, each one of them dealing with 1,000 children. There are 200,000 children in this country's education system. We could have built everything that we needed to make this country a modern state-of-the-art nation just with the $25 billion that we stole to bail out Clico and CL that was too big to fail. And for some reason, the only people that got money was the people that were already big, that didn't need it. Trinidad and Tobago. We took our carnival, the week before Carnival Saturday, to have a pep market, to raise funds, to put our PEP members to work, to give you a living example of what a political movement is. A political movement, like a rising tide, lifts all boats. So that lady that was there today, frying bake and making saltfish to sell, she was given an opportunity today to empower herself. We have that as a philosophy. That is the middle word in our name, the Progressive Empowerment Party. Our people just need hope and opportunity, and for government to get out of their way. The Progressive Empowerment Party stands for that. All the crime plans that you're looking for, all of it, all the lockup and the lockdown, all of it starts in the social development and management of this country. Because if that is done properly, you will have no crime. In a proper distribution of the nation's wealth, because if that is done properly, you'll have no crime. Crime is a function of poverty and frustration, no matter what they try to tell you. That is the truth. The criminal enterprise that we live in needs to be addressed at the Chamber of Commerce and Law Association level. Too many unethical, corrupt people are willing to sell each other down the river for their little piece of 30 pieces of silver. And we have to stop that. How do we stop that? Do you wait for the consequences of inaction, your response to their theft, to hit home? Walk in a government office, take some time off, go to a hospital and pretend that you're there with an emergency. Pretend. Just walk in and pretend that you're holding in your arms somebody you care about that is dying. And see the response. Don't wait for it to be a reality, because by then, hold your head and ball will become your new normal. That'll become your posture. And you will look around and you will ask, why didn't anybody do something about this? The Progressive Empowerment Party has been agitating and educating for 2 years and a couple months. And we've been telling the nation, it is time to put aside all bitter rivalries, petty jealousies, superficial racist ideologies, and stand together as one people under one flag. That all of our politics must be founded on service of the people. We put the definition of government into the national conversation, that the well-being of each and every citizen is the function, purpose, and reason for government. And if that is not what they're doing, when you heard this jackass of a prime minister said, wean yourself off government, we were supposed to fire him the next day. The government exists to serve the people. The people could never wean itself off government. That's an oxymoron, you ox of a moron. Trinidad and Tobago needs a government of compassion and caring that understands that at the lowest level, the indigent, the unemployable, the homeless, the drug addicted, the wayward, those people, they are government's responsibility. That if like a rising tide, we lift all boats, if the poorest class, if we close the gap, if we increase their equity, if we give them a living wage and then increase that too, the lowest class will push the middle class, that will push the upper class. I had to tell somebody yesterday, a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW can't sell in this country without Charlotte Street Tambran Ball. Because that's how an economy works. It is the masses at the bottom that buys the Malta Carib and buys the toilet paper and buys the bottle of ketchup that allows the ketchup and Malta and then make us to go and buy fancy car. Without those people on the ground selling Tambran and Tulum and Panty and Brown Charlotte Street to live, you can't sell Benz and BMW up on top. You have to understand that it is the dynamic mass of humanity at the bottom of Trinidad and Tobago that we have mismanaged. That is the politics. That's where the conversation has to be held. How you fix Cocorite is the conversation. How you fix Mova, Beatam, Lavatel, and Silots. How you give them jobs. How you give them homes. How you give them hope and opportunity. Because you see, after that, if you are awash in a nation where you could maximize your fullest potential and you still choose crime, drop the trapdoor. Nobody will shed a tear for you. But right now, we cannot say that this is our reality. And while I would like to dress with the best of them, throw on the shirt and tie and the three-piece suit, I want you to know that my mission is to agitate the ground. My mission is to wake them up to their condition. My mission is to make sure that nobody could say they don't know. After we done, everybody's supposed to know not only what wrong, but how it could be right and how to get it so. And then make better choices. If you're voting for somebody just because they're black, it's like marrying a woman for a sexy ass. At some point, both of those things are gonna fail you. The country that you want is on the other side of all of the people standing together as one family, regardless of where we came from. That is why the opening song that I played tonight is Jahajibai, Brotherhood of the Boat. My Syrian roots, my Indian roots, my black roots, my white roots, all my roots came here by boat. And we are the brotherhood of the boat. Some of them left for good reasons. Most of them left for bad reasons. Some of them had no say in the reasons at all. But we all crossed that same passage. We all tasted that salt in our face. We all landed on this nothing of an island and forged a country out of it. And somewhere along the road, somewhere along this journey, idiocy set in. We decided to become foolish and separate ourselves from each other instead of pulling together. The day we get past that bullshit, we could all be statesmen. We could all sit down and clink glasses and talk at the end of the day. What a lovely journey we're on. But for now, the country is a mockery of a real nation, especially one as blessed as this one is. Trinidad and Tobago is among all nations fortuitous and blessed. We are located outside of the hurricane belt, the only tropical destination in the Caribbean. And you want to ask if God is a Trinity. We're supposed to advantage that. We're supposed to leverage that. Our soil is so fertile, you could spit a seed and it grows. We have the best honey in the world, the best cocoa in the world, the best pepper in the world. Because all them peppers that are hotter than our pepper, you can't use them. After the Moruga pepper, anything after that is just torture. We have the best of everything right here. Just mismanaged to disadvantage you, to enslave you, to drop you to your knees, and to leverage your consumption and your labor. Flip that script. Flip that script. Turn it around. Deliberately conspire to work together. Make it your duty to say that from this day go forward, we want a better country. We demand it. We will settle for nothing less. That is the conversation we're going to have. Don't distract us with foolishness. We're not interested in being in bubbles and shiny things. We want a better country. We want education that works, that leaves no child behind. And to leave no child behind, you cannot have prestige education and failed education in the same system. You have to have one education system that gives every child the same hope, the same opportunity. Water in your tap is the same thing. Healthcare within 5 to 7 minutes of any emergency for every citizen, that should be the target. Home ownership for all. A starter home for $100,000, zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years. Costs $500 a month in mortgage. That passes the bar of the 40% that is required by banks and financial institutions, even for minimum wage earners earning $2,250 a month. This is not rocket science. This is simple fact that we could get from where we are to where we want to be by dint of one vote. You want a better country? You're going to have to demand it. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.